So here we go. Good morning. It is the first day of our 2020-2021 school year. And I am excited to meet all of you. If you currently have your mic on, could I have you mute your mic? Whenever you see this little symbol, when I hold it up, it'll tell you to mute your mic. So at this time, please mute your mic. And the reason why we do that is because when we all have our mics on, we could get feedback from everyone else. And so you guys want to be able to hear me clearly, okay? So this morning, if we were in the actual school, there would be a sign outside of our classroom. And the sign would be a greeting that you would choose to do with Miss Nagy. Because before we even enter our classroom, we greet each other. I feel like that's just a way to create a community because I don't want you to only see me as your teacher. Do not be afraid of me, okay? So this morning, I am going to hold up a greeting sign. So this past summer, I was trying to figure out a way how we can greet virtually. There are little greetings that you can choose to do with me. It's sending me a wave, a salute, a wink, an air hug. You can blow me a kiss, or you could tip your hat, or you can do what is called spirit fingers. So I'm going to hold this up, and when I call your name, you are going to decide to do a greeting with me. Okay, so we're going to start with Kane. Kane, do you want to choose a greeting and then do it with me? We have wave, salute, air hug, wink, blow a kiss, tip your hat, or do spirit fingers. And I will do it right back to you. So air hug. Thank you, Kane. Okay, Ashlyn, what greeting would you like to do with me? Air hug. Thank you. Noah, what would you like to do with me? Air hug. I love the hugs. Okay, Amani, what would you like to do with me? Okay, so spirit fingers. We got our first spirit fingers. Jazz Marie, what would you like to do with me? Air hug. Thank you. I love the hugs. Emily, what would you like to do with me?
That you already.
Oh, yay. Okay, wink. I'm terrible at winking, so I kind of look weird when I wink, but okay. And Cervantes, what would you like to do with me? Spirit fingers. Okay, we got a second spirit fingers. So that is what we do before we even enter the classroom. And when we actually do, when we're in school, we enter the classroom around 7:30 because I would host breakfast in the classroom. Kind of like what you guys did last year where you had to eat inside of your classroom for breakfast. And then once the school starts at 8, you would then greet your friends. So the way we do the greeting in the classroom, at this moment, you can unmute so that I can be able to hear you. So when it is time to unmute our mic, I will hold up this symbol, which means that you can turn on your mic. So when we are in our classroom, after we've greeted Mrs. Nagy and then the bells go off and it's 8 o'clock and it's time to start our class, we now greet our friends. Now the way we greet our friends is a little bit different. So first of all, let me get a show of hands. Who's nervous? Because I'm nervous. Who's like really nervous about starting their first day? Yes, I know I'm nervous. So what we do in the classroom, kind of like an icebreaker to make everybody feel super duper weird, just to kind of get those nervous feelings out, is we do greeting of the day. Now the greeting of the day, I normally allow a student to come up and pick our greeting. And I do it in a Batman way, so I'll show you how. We have greeting of the day. So if you see this jar, it's red, and it has all of your names on it, on these little sticks. You all have individual sticks. And the way that this goes is Mrs. Nagy is going to sing the theme song Batman. And when she finishes it, she's going to pull out a stick, and the person's name on it will choose the greeting of the day. Now, sadly, we're not together for you to pull out the greeting. So I will stick my hand in the greeting jar for you, and you will start the greeting. Batman. Cervantes. You are doing the greeting of the day today. So you'll start. So I'll stick my hand in here.
Yeah, I'll do this for the day.
And we will choose our greeting. And our greeting of the day is alien voice. Okay? Alien voice. And it's going to be really, really weird. So I will do it first. Okay? Just to give you an idea of how to do alien voice. And then when I call your name, I'm going to tell you who to greet in alien voice. Okay, so here we go. I have a terrible alien voice, but okay. Good morning, Cervantes. Okay, Cervantes, you will now greet Kane in your best alien voice. Perfect. Now, Kane, you will greet Cervantes in your best alien voice.
We have to go to planet Earth.
Okay. So you want to be an alien from the planet Earth and just say hi?
Good morning, Cervantes.
Good job. Okay, Kane, you will now greet Ashlyn.
Good morning, Ashlyn.
Perfect. Ashlyn, you will now greet Kane.
Good morning, Kane.
Perfect. Okay, Ashlyn, you will now greet Noah.
Good morning, Noah.
Noah, you will greet Ashlyn.
Good morning, Ashlyn.
Perfect. So I'm guessing that today we're all aliens from Earth. Perfect. Okay, Noah, you will now greet Amani.
Hello, morning.
Okay, Amani, you will now greet Noah.
Good morning.
Good
Noah.
job. Amani, you will now greet Jazz Marie.
Good morning, Jasmine.
Perfect. Okay, now you will say good morning to Amani. Awesome. Now, Jazz Marie, you would say good morning to Emily.
Good morning, Emily.
Emily, you would say good morning to Jazz Marie.
Good morning, Jasmine.
Perfect. And finally, Jazz Marie, you would say good morning to Quentin.
Good morning, Quentin.
And Quentin, you would say good morning to Jazz Marie. Perfect. So, I understand that some of us are nervous, and I never tend to push people to do something that they don't want to do. So if you're still struggling to say good morning to your friends, I totally understand. That's why we do this practice, so that eventually you guys can feel comfortable talking to your friends. Now, I understand this feels like a long process, but in the classroom, it goes very, very fast, okay? So because you're right in front of your friends, and you're just waving or saying good morning. But virtually, it's going to take a while, okay? So hopefully within the next 2 months, we could get it down. Now, for the sake of the virtual learning, after our greeting of the day, we're going to talk about our expectations, okay? So our first expectation, which you've already gone over, is whenever I hold up this sign, and you don't need to do it right now, it's just showing, okay? So whenever I hold up this sign, it means to mute your mic. You don't have to mute. Whenever I hold up this sign, it tells you to unmute, okay? And remember, we just mute so that everyone can hear me. And finally, we have a whole bunch of other symbols, but one of the other main important symbols is this one. Who could tell me what this symbol is?
Google Classroom.
It's Google Classroom. That's where you're going to find all of your assignments, okay? All of your assignments. Ms. Nagy will only post there, okay? Another one of my expectations is that you must always keep your video on, okay? I must always see you at all times. Another one of my expectations is to make sure that you're at school on time. So I will always open up the video around 7:55, but I hopefully expect all of you to be here by 8:05 the latest, okay? I know, it's terrible. We don't want to wake up, but we got to wake up. Another expectation is when you have a question, since I can see you, just raise your hand as if you're in class, and I'll immediately stop and answer your question, okay? So what that means is if Ms. Nagy is talking, she doesn't really want you to interrupt her. because then everybody else will just automatically take their attention from Miss Nagy and put it onto you. So if I'm talking and you're like, oh, okay, I don't understand, just raise your hand and I'll stop and I'll answer you, okay? Another one of my expectations is to make sure that you complete your work daily and you sign in daily. As long as you guys come into the morning meeting, you are set because our class is going to be virtual the entire every single minute. So you're going to have me here the whole day with you, okay? Another one of my expectations is to sit quietly in a place where nobody's going to bother you. So far, I think all of you guys got that, okay? Because nobody's like screaming, but I get it. Some of us have babies or baby siblings. But if you could sit in a quiet place, that would be awesome. Another one of my expectations is to always be respectful, not only to me, but to your fellow students as well, because in about 2 weeks when we start our actual studying, where you come to the school and get your math and your reading textbooks, you guys will be answering virtually, and I would find it very sad if a student answered a question and let's say they got it wrong. If you snicker at them, if you make fun of them, I'm going to find that disrespectful, okay? Because we're all here to learn. Miss Nagy is not the smartest person in the world, and so when I get an answer wrong, I would hope that my friends not laugh at me, but just give me the right answer, okay? So let's just be respectful to me and to all of our classmates. Our second to last expectation is to always stay focused. I totally understand that doing class virtually is a challenge, okay? Because come 2 weeks from now, you will have to do virtual training from 8 in the morning to 3 o'clock in the afternoon like a regular school day, okay? So that is a lot of hours, and I will make sure to put in breaks for you. You will also have an hour for lunch, so you'll have breaks in between to eat. But Mrs. Nagy is in college, and I don't even do, online college for 6 hours. So I know it can be tough, but we'll work together, okay? And then lastly, eating and breaks. I expect you to eat during your breaks or before class starts or at your lunchtime, okay? So if we are doing class, say a math lesson or something, I don't want you to have a full thing of, like chicken or something just sitting there eating while it's time for class, okay? No. It's time for class, and when Miss Nagy says, okay, let's go take a potty break, or let's go get a snack, or right now it's your lunchtime, please eat at that time, okay? All right. It's just kind of like school, when we're doing math, we don't got biscuits and gravy in front of us, okay? All right. So those are the expectations. Does anyone have a question for me before we move on? Okay, perfect. And once again, don't be afraid to ask me a question, okay? So during our morning meeting, after our expectations, we do what is called question of the day. Last year, this is one of my students' favorite parts of the day, or the morning meeting, which is question of the day, okay? So just like the morning greeting, I have a jar here, and it's yellow. And I will do the Batman singing again. And when I choose your name, I will pull a question of the day out of our bag, and you will answer first, okay? Well, I will answer and give you kind of an example of how we should answer. And then the person who gets chosen will answer again. So we got Batman. Amani, you get to do question of the day. So we have this giant bag here, and it's filled with 180 questions because there's 180 days in the school year. So let's see, what's our question of the day? Okay, do you prefer spicy or sweet food? I can't do spicy food. I don't like spicy food at all. So now Amani Ann is going to answer. Do you prefer spicy or sweet food? Spicy. Woo. Okay, Kane, do you prefer spicy or sweet food?
Sweet.
Sweet. Okay, Ashlyn, spicy or sweet food?
Sweet.
Sweet. Okay, Noah, spicy or sweet food?
Sweet.
Sweet. Jazz Marie, spicy or sweet food?
Spicy.
Spicy. Emily, spicy or sweet food?
Spicy.
Spicy. Cervantes, spicy or sweet food?
Sweet.
Okay. And Quentin, spicy or sweet food? Spicy. Okay. All right, so that would be our question of the day. We have another activity for morning meeting. When you see him, don't make fun of him, okay? He has been in my life for 7 years, and I love him. So we have a class pet, okay? But he's not live, okay? He's not living, okay? So our class pet, don't make fun of him. Our class pet is Marvin, okay? He's a little plush owl, okay? And a lot of my students last year were like, he looks scary because he has big old eyes. But this is Marvin. And what we do with Marvin is Marvin has a journal. So whenever you get chosen for Marvin, you would take him home and you would write in the journal all the fun things you did with him that day. And then the next day you would come back during morning meeting and you would read to the class what you did with him. And then after your reading, you could take 3 questions from your classmates to answer. Now, sadly, you're not here to take Marvin home, so I switched it up a little bit. Raise your hand if you have a pet at home. Okay, so we got a few. No, a lot of you don't have pets at home. Okay, so what I wanted to do these next 2 months. It's okay, I got you. Thank you for raising your hand. So what I wanted to do these next 2 months is if I call your name for Marvin, instead the next day during morning meeting, you will show us kind of like your dog or your cat or whatever pet you have, and you can tell us what you did with them. Now, if you don't have a pet, we'll figure out something, okay? You could probably tell us what cool pet you are praying that your parents buy for Christmas. Okay, maybe I can convince them to buy you a pet, right? Maybe. Okay, so remember, this is Marvin. Say hi, Marvin. Okay, so this is Marvin. So what I will do now is read my entry from yesterday and what I did with Marvin, and then I will choose out of the green Marvin jar on who will show us their pet tomorrow. I know. Can you hear your principal?
Yeah.
Yeah, because every single teacher is in the school today. Okay, so here is my adventure with Marvin. So August 12th, 2020. Marvin and I were running around like headless chickens yesterday trying to make everything perfect for the students on the first day of school. When we were done with work, we drove to the daycare to pick up my 2 boys. On our drive home, me and Marvin were having so much fun singing in the car. I think other drivers thought we were crazy because they were looking at us funny. I don't care though, because we were having fun. After dinner, around dinner, Marvin helped me to cook. We had Italian cheese tortellini soup. After dinner, we read bedtime stories to the boys and tucked them in. Before bed, Marvin and I read a little bit, and it was a great day. Okay? So if you are at school, the person who would choose Marvin will then go home and bring him home with the journal and write what they did that day. And then they would come back and read their journey with Marvin. So at this time, I will take 3 questions about Marvin, because when you read your Marvin journal, after you're done, you take 3 questions. So does anyone have a question based off of my adventure with Marvin? Okay, if you don't have no questions, you don't have no questions. But normally, one of the students would be like, okay, well, you said you have 2 sons. What are their names? Okay, so that would have been a question, which my 2 sons' names are Caleb and Thomas. Okay. All right, so we have to choose who will present tomorrow if you have an animal, and if you don't, tell me what animal you want me to convince your parents to buy for you, okay? So, I can't promise anything, but I can try to convince them to buy you, I don't know, a parrot or something, or a hamster. Okay, so here we go. Batman. Cervantes, you are doing your adventure tomorrow. Cervantes, do you have a pet?
Nope.
No? Okay, so tomorrow, what you'll do during morning meeting is just tell me what pet you would love your parents to buy you, okay? And what name you would give to it, okay? And pretty much like why you would want that pet. So for example, I love owls. That's why Marvin is an owl. And if I could ever get a pet, it would be an owl. Okay, so kind of along the lines, you'll just pick a pet that you would love your parents to buy for you, and then I'll try to convince them to buy it for you. Okay, so after Marvin, we do what is called the classroom pledge, okay? So when we do the classroom pledge, we do it as an echo. Noah, do you have a question? Noah, do you have a question?
Yeah, I thought when you said class pet, I thought it was real.
No, sadly, schools cannot have real pets, okay? Because God forbid it passes away in the school and one of the kids are like traumatized because they see a fish just floating on his back, you know? So, no, we can't have live pets, okay? If we could, I would bring my 2 cats to school, okay? But we can't.
I would too.
Okay, so we are almost done with morning meeting. Another big portion of morning meeting is what we call the class pledge. So the way we do the class pledge is Miss Nagy will read a line and then you would echo that line back to her. So for example, if I said in Mrs. Nagy's classroom, all of you would then say in Mrs. Nagy's classroom. So let's try that out, okay? In Mrs. Nagy's class. Go ahead. We use kind words.
We use kind words.
And work quietly.
And work quietly.
We work hard.
We work hard.
And help.
And help.
We are kind.
And you are kind.
Okay, so it's we are kind.
We are kind.
There you go. Happy and respectful.
Happy and respectful.
We respect our classroom. We respect our classroom. And always keep it clean.
And always keep it clean.
And when I say this part, you gotta scream it, okay? We are a great classroom.
We are
Perfect. Awesome. Okay. So after the pledge, we will go over our schedule for the day. So you will see what you will be doing for the day. But this is our schedule, okay? So today is a short day. Today is only about 8 to 11, 11:30. So at 8 o'clock, we did our morning meeting. At 8:25, we will do our poem of the week. And I always keep the poems super duper funny, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Then at 8:30, we'll be doing our spelling. Trust me, I promise it will be fun, okay? At 8:45, we will be doing our reading block. And this is just to show you how your day goes, even on the long days when it's 8 to 3, okay? At 9:35, we'll be doing our writing block. At 10, we'll be doing our math. At 10:50, we'll be doing our whole class reading. And then at 11 o'clock, we'll do our final thoughts. If you hear Miss Nagy's phone going off in her classroom, don't worry about it. They know that it's class time and I'm not picking it up. So, okay. So after our schedule, congratulations. You have gotten to your first 5-minute break. Perfect. Okay, so it is time to start again, but I'll wait until everybody's back into the screen because I know I told you to get that piece of paper and pencil kind of late. So I'm going to go grab my water right quick and I'll be right back, okay? Awesome. Okay, so before we even start our reading block, we're going to do our poem of the week. Welcome back, Quentin. So the poem of the week, the first week is just my poem to you, but I promise next week's poem is going to be hilarious because I make all my poems funny, okay? So I am going to read my poem of the week for you now, and you'll hear this poem tomorrow as well as Friday because we read the poem of the week every single day so that we can learn our words. So Miss Nagy's going to read you her poem. Welcome, students. I am so glad I am your teacher. I am so excited to see all of you grow. I can't believe the first day is here. I hate to see summer go. I know you are scared, and I am too. But I simply remember I couldn't be a great teacher without special kids like you. Okay? So that's my poem of the week because I love my students already, okay? So you'll hear me read that poem tomorrow as well as Friday. Normally in the classroom, though, when we do poem of the week, on Mondays, Miss Nagy reads it and she introduces it, but she also has a jar for poem of the week, and when she calls your name, you will read the poem that day and the students will echo you, okay? So in the classroom, you do read the poem, okay? But I can understand that virtually, you really can't see the words. So for the next 2 months, I'll be reading the poem. But when you guys come in October, hopefully, you guys can read the poem, okay? Now, I want you to set aside your piece of paper and pencil because that's for later, okay? What we will do now is I'm going to hold up this sign, okay? And we're going to go to Google Classroom. Try not to click out of your video, okay? But we're going to go to Google Classroom right now. And then just give me a thumbs up when you're pretty much there, okay? You're going to go to the Google Classroom. And you're going to click on the classwork, okay? Pretty much like where you went to get our video today. So you should see our assignments, writing, math, spelling, okay? And I want you to click on the assignment that says spelling, okay? And so what you want to see on your screen is this here, okay? So when we practice our spelling throughout the weeks, on the first Monday, but you're not going to do it today, okay? On the first Monday, you're going to do a practice your words, but today we're not going to do all that. But that's going to help me to see how you guys are going to do on Friday's spelling test. This Friday and next Friday, you will not have a spelling test, okay? This is just for fun, so you could get used to it. So what Mrs. Nagy will do is every week she will type in your spelling words. And then the fun thing is that now we get to play games. Right now, we'll be doing our spelling block. And what you will do is you get to choose right now any game that you want. And you'll practice the game for 15 minutes. So what I want you to do right now is click on any game and just start playing. Okay? And then we'll come, don't turn off your screen. But I will call you back at about 9:10, And then that will be the end of our spelling block, okay? So have fun and play some games. So give me a thumbs up if you like spelling video games, because that's what we're going to be doing the whole entire time, is spelling video games. Okay, so can I get a thumbs up when everybody is ready to move on?
I have to get off. You have to get off.
Awesome. Awesome. Just waiting for a few more thumbs up to tell me that we're off spelling and we're ready to move on. Okay, perfect, perfect. Okay, so at this time, we will be moving into our reading block, okay? And we won't do actual reading for the first 2 weeks. What we'll be doing is Mrs. Nagy is going to show you a video of a book being read, and we will discuss the message of that book, and we will talk about the book, okay? However, today we'll be looking at a video versus a book. Now, I want to ask, has anyone, and just do a raise of a hand, has anyone ever gave someone a compliment? Do you know what a compliment is? Okay? It's when you say something nice to someone. Okay? And so what we'll be doing today is I want you to now take that piece of paper and that pencil or pen or whatever you had, and I want you to bring it back out. Now, what I want you to do is label or number your paper 1 to 10, okay? And like skip a line, okay? Just pretty much like skip a line 1 to 10. You're gonna label it 1 to 10 and put your name on the top of it, okay? So when you're done with that, just give me a thumbs up, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call on someone, okay? So I want you to think. I'm gonna give you about 30 seconds, and I want you to think of a nice thing to say to someone, okay? So I'm going to start you off to give you an example. And I'm going to write it on the board right here. So I know a very nice compliment to say to someone is, you are brave. Now, can anyone raise their hand? I'll call on them. And can you give me another nice example of a compliment to tell someone? You're doing good. You are doing good. Okay, thank you, Quentin. Noah, can you give me another compliment?
You are a great teacher.
Okay. Let's take teacher out of it though. And I appreciate that, but I'm going to put you are great because we want to do compliments that we can tell everyone, okay? So we'll put you are great. All right, Cervantes, can you give me one? And then Amani, you'll be next. Cervantes, can you give me one? You are nice? Okay. You are nice. Amani, what's yours?
You are smart.
You are smart. I love these compliments. You are smart. Emily, could you give me one?
You are kind.
You are kind. Okay, does anyone else have another compliment? Quentin.
You are intelligent.
Ooh, I love the word. You are intelligent.
You are pretty.
Okay. How about you are pretty? And for boys, we could put you are handsome. Okay? You are a great friend. You are a great friend. Okay, now, so the reason why you have a paper in front of you is because I want you to now write down 10 compliments out of the ones that we chose, and I want you to write it on your paper. And at this time, I'm going to share my screen because I'm going to show you a video. So once again, let me see a thumbs up if you can see my screen. Okay, great. So I am going to show you a short video. It's about 4 minutes, half of 4 minutes. And here we go.
I like perfectly perfect. I blushed. Me? Yes, you. And by the way, you have wonderful eyes. I blinked, astonished. I do? Absolutely. They sparkle like stars on the darkest of nights. I gazed downward. Thank you. Your eyes sparkle too. Sweet of you to say. You have a marvelous voice. I gently whispered. You really think so? Of course. You sound as joyous as a songbird, whistling in the trees. And you have a magnificent smile. I sheepishly groaned. Well, Mama always says, start every day with her. I do try very hard. You sure do. You're as brilliant as a rocket scientist. I like that you are friendly. I leaned in close. I raised my head high. I auditioned for the school play today. Outstanding. You're as brave as a lion. You're a fantastic dancer. You're as graceful as a dolphin gliding through the sea. I plopped on the ground, giggling as the room playfully spun around. And you have a terrific laugh. Thank you very much. Your kindness is as beautiful as a rainbow. I stood up and walked towards the mirror. To me, you are perfectly perfect. Gently pressed my hands against the glass. I like being you.
So I'm going to put this little symbol up to unmute your mic. Perfect. And so raise your hand so I can call on you. And who can tell me how the video made them feel and what they think the message was of the video? Amani, you may go first.
That she loves herself.
That she loves herself. So she, in essence, was her own best friend. So what I want you guys to do now is what I always tell my students. It is very, very nice to give compliments to other people, but it is even kinder to give compliments to yourself. So what I want you to do now is go back to your list, and I want you to erase the word you, and I want you to put the word I. So now your list should not say you are kind. It should say I am kind. The reason why I always start the year off with this activity is because I have met a lot of students who sadly have never ever told themselves a compliment or even hear compliments on a daily basis. And the only way that we can be our best selves is if we are kind to ourselves. So what our first assignment is for you to tape that up to your mirror, and as you're brushing your teeth in the morning, because I hope you all are brushing your teeth, okay? When we're brushing our teeth, you're going to say your I am statements to yourself. And then on Friday, we're going to talk about how this made you feel, complimenting yourself on a daily basis. If it made you feel better about yourself, if you develop confidence, okay? So that was our reading block. I am going to give you another, let's see the time. I am going to give you a 7-minute break. And at this time, you can go potty, you can go have a snack, or you can tape your paper up to your mirror now, okay? So we will come back at 9:40. Do not shut off your screens. Remember that, okay? Just step away. So at this time, you have a 7-minute break. Go ahead. It is time. So I am going to hold up this symbol, and I need you to go to Google Classroom, to our assignments, and we will now start our writing assignment, okay? So I'm going to share my screen just so that you guys know where we're going, okay? So right now we're in Google Classroom where our assignments are. Now, I'm going to speak to you guys today. We're not going to really do a writing assignment. If we have time, we probably will. But if we don't, today is just pretty much me going through what our writing will look like for the next 2 months. Okay, so give me a thumbs up if you can see my cursor on my screen. I know it takes some time, but give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen and me going crazy with my cursor. So you don't have to do nothing right now. You don't have to touch your screen or anything like that. Just follow along with me, okay? So whenever we do our writing block, we will go to our Google Classroom, followed by the day, where our assignments are. And I would click on the writing assignment. Now you see these 3 documents here. We have what is called the writing prompt calendar. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to click on that, and it's going to take me to a Google document. We will choose a prompt from this calendar and we will simply write about it, okay? And I'll show you how we do that. So this calendar here is for the month of August, and you'll have a different calendar for every month. And the fun thing is you do not have to do the same prompt as everyone else. You can choose your own. So if today you wanted to write about, imagine a giant box is delivered to your front doorstep with your name on it, what's inside and what happens when you open it. Or you can choose, if you had $1,000 right now, what would you buy and why? So these are kind of our writing prompts for the month of August. And you get to choose whichever one you want to write about. So when you actually decide which one that you want to write, I'm going to now read you a sample of what I would want a writing prompt written to look like. So I went to the calendar earlier, and I decided that I want to write about what I want to be when I grow up. Now, all of you are like, Miss Nagy, you're already grown up, and you're already a teacher. What do you mean what you want to be when you grow up? But I'm always striving to be better than what I am today. So here's my prompt. So when you get this document, you'll see the word prompt here. And what that simply means is you're going to write out the question that you decided to write about that day. So I chose, what do you want to be when you grow up and why? And then you'll put your name, and I put Mrs. Nagy, and then you'll put the date, August 12, 2020. We all know that when we do assignments, we always put our name and our date on it. So now that you know my prompt, I'm going to read what I wrote. This is just an example of what you should be writing. So I wrote, I already feel like I am a grown-up, but in the future, I would like to become a principal. The reason why I want to become a principal is to make a difference in so many students' lives. I love teaching, and I want to make sure that I create an environment where students can succeed, love to come, and fall in love with learning. I do not want to stop at principal, though. After I become a principal, I am going to shoot to become the superintendent of the South Bend School Corporation, so that I can go from improving the lives of students in a single school to improving the lives of students in an entire school district. After I become the superintendent, I am going to shoot for becoming the Educational Secretary of the United States. This will help me to go from improving the lives of children within a single school district to improving the lives of every student in America. And it will be my honor to do that for all of you. When I ultimately become the Education Secretary of the United States, I'm going to retire and open up a little charming coffee shop, kick up my feet, and enjoy the remainder of my life. So I know that is like long, but that's just an example of after you choose your writing prompt, you start writing about it. So we already looked at the prompt calendar. So once again, during your writing block, the first thing you do is come to the calendar and decide what you're going to write about, and you can choose anything. And then after you choose what you're going to write about, say for example, we'll choose the one where we just found $1,000. What are we going to buy it? What are we going to spend it on? We will go to writing assignment. And when you click it, it'll automatically go to the Google document. I know this is a lot, guys, but we'll do it every day, so eventually we'll get used to it. So here you have your document, and so we will just give it a minute while it loads up so I can start typing. So here's our document, and every single one of you can type out your own. So I chose, if I found $1,000, and give it some time to bluff. If I found $1,000, what would I spend it on? Okay, so you see how I wrote my prompt? Because if you just start writing and you don't tell me what you're writing about, Mrs. Nagy's going to be confused. Then I'll go to my name and write Mrs. Nagy. But for you, you're clearly not going to write Mrs. Nagy. You're going to write your name. And then for date, you'll just put the date, which is August 12th, 2020. Okay? And then you will just click here and you'll start typing. And I'm just going to write one sentence. I'd write, if I found $1,000, I would go to the store and buy all the candy. Okay? Something along the lines of that. And then you would tell me why, okay? And I would type something along the lines of, because I love sugar. Okay? So that's pretty much what we're doing for our writing block. Now, the most important thing is that after you start typing, all you have to do is press this. You just pretty much press out the document and it automatically saves. Okay? Now, this is the most important thing. When you do that, you click on the writing assignment and you will click on view assignment right here. Remember, don't worry, I'll be with you the entire time, so you don't have to remember this. I'll tell you when to turn it in. And when you click on assignment, you will come to this page. Now the difference is that this is the teacher screen, okay? So on the student screen, you have a button right here that says turn in. You probably have all seen that button last year when you did Google Classroom, when you had to turn in your assignments. You probably saw a blue button that said turn in. So that's pretty much like our writing calendar. What time is it? Let's see if we have. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to take questions right now because I know that was a lot. Okay. We are going to move into our math block. Okay. What I want you to do now is to go to Google Classroom. Okay. I want you to go to Google Classroom, but don't click on anything yet because I'm going to share my screen again, okay? So, Google Classroom, and I am going to start to share my screen. And then after our math block, we will have our final break, okay? I just want to first off telling you guys, the assignment that you're about to do now, I do not want you to rush through it, okay? I actually want you to take your time because I want it to take today, tomorrow, and Friday, okay? So what you're about to do is take a diagnostic test. And a diagnostic test, if I can have Ashlyn mute her mic, a diagnostic test just tells me how smart you are and what areas you need more help from Mrs. Nagy, okay? But I will let you know that what you're about to see on this diagnostic test is going to be hard. Why? Because you haven't been taught it yet, okay? This is everything that you're going to learn from now until the end of the school year, okay? So you are going to look at something and you're going to be like, oh my God, I don't know what that is. It's understandable you haven't been taught it yet, but I like to see where you guys are. Now, the cool thing is that for every question you get right, you get to play a game, okay? So what I want you to do is take your time and do one question at a time, and every time you get a question right and they say, do you want to play a game? Play the game. Don't rush through this, okay? And promise me that when you get to a question that's hard, okay? When you get to a question that's hard and you get it wrong, don't get upset, okay? Just give me 1 second, Jamarcus. Just remember that you haven't been taught it yet. Can you know something that you haven't been taught yet? No. So don't get mad, okay? So at this time, now I will say this though, and I'm talking to parents, if there's a parent near you, okay? Parents cannot do it for you, okay. Parents cannot do it for you. There's no cheating, okay? They could probably read the question to you, but they cannot give you the answer, because then that's not going to help Miss Nagy to make you better, okay? Because then I'm pretty much going to be teaching your parents what they know, okay? All right. So what we're going to do, guys, is we came to our, I'm going to start sharing my screen. We came to our first hiccup of the day, okay? It happens. This is the first day of school and it's virtual, okay? So now that Miss Nagy realizes that there's an issue with the math program, we're not going to do it today, but tomorrow I'm going to continue to guide you through it, and I have to do my homework tonight to make that process easier, okay? So don't stress out. It's the first day of school. This is the first hiccup, okay? So if you didn't find the page, don't worry. Don't stress out. If you would like to stay with me after class to figure it out, I will give you that information, okay? But as of right now, we're gonna take a bit of a break because I know that was hard. And I know some of you were crying. Some of you were stressed out about that. Please don't be, okay? So right now, I'm going to give you guys a 5-minute break, okay? To just take a breather, get some water, and I know that that was hard, okay? Okay, guys, so the final thing that we do in class is what we call the whole group reading. And you guys are a major part of this, okay? So, what it is I will present to you three books, 3 chapter books, and I will read the back of it and tell you what the book is about. And after I do that, we take a vote. You guys get to choose which book we read for the month of August, okay? So I am going to grab those 3 books right now, and give me 1 second. So the 3 books that we are going to choose from the month of August, and you probably already read the first one. It's called Charlotte's Web, okay? So we have Charlotte's Web, because I know most of you have read this book, or you probably saw the movie, but it's one that I love to read. Your parents will probably know this book, but you probably won't. And it's called Old Yeller, okay? And this is a book about a boy who at first doesn't really care for his new dog, but then he ends up falling in love with his dog. But it is sad, okay? So we have Old Yeller. And then the final book that we have that I read in the 3rd grade was Because of Winn-Dixie, okay? So Because of Winn-Dixie is about, let me see if they have a synopsis. So they don't have what the book is about, but I can tell you pretty much a brief history of it. There's a little girl. She is in a grocery store, And she finds her best friend, which is a dog, and they have their own adventures, okay? So once again, we have Charlotte's Web, which is a classic favorite. We have Old Yeller, about a boy and his dog, that's kind of sad. And we have about Because of Winn-Dixie, where a girl meets a dog, okay? So at this time, you're going to think about which book you want to vote for, and then I'm going to call your name, and you're going to unmute your mic, and you're going to tell me which book you want to read. Then I'm going to add up the tallies, and we're going to see which book we're reading for the month of August. Okay. Cervantes, what book are you voting for? Charlotte's Web, Old Yeller, or Because of Winn-Dixie? You said Old Yeller?
Yes.
Okay. Jada, Charlotte's Web, Old Yeller, or Because of Winn-Dixie?
Old Yeller.
Old Yeller. Jazz Marie, Charlotte's Web, Old Yeller, or Because of Winn-Dixie? You like Charlotte's Web, Old Yeller? Old Yeller. Okay, now mute your mic again. Kane, would you like Charlotte's Web, Old Yeller, or Winn-Dixie?
Charlotte's Web.
Charlotte's Web. I love that book. Okay, mute your mic. Amani, what book would you like?
Old Yeller.
Old Yeller. Okay, mute your mic. Ashlyn, what book would you like?
Charlotte's Web.
Charlotte's Web. Okay, mute your mic, Ashlyn. Emily, what's your book?
Charlotte's Web.
Charlotte's Web. Quentin.
Old Yeller.
Old Yeller. And finally, Noah.
Old Yeller.
Old Yeller. So who can assume which book won? Old Yeller. Okay, so tomorrow we will be starting our reading of Old Yeller. And I will tell you, it is sad. The first time I read it, I had snot and tears. And it was like really, really sad, okay? But you got to promise me something. You will not watch the movie, okay? Because a lot of my students last year, when we would vote on our book, they would go home and watch the movie and then ruin the book for everyone. Because they would tell them what it was about. And that used to make me very sad, okay? Like one day we were reading Matilda, and a student went home, watched the movie, and then told them everything about the book. And I was very sad, okay? So when we choose a book, promise me you won't watch the movie. Because then we watch the movie as, like, when we finish the book, one of your homeworks is to watch the movie. Okay? So don't watch the movie. Promise me you won't watch the movie.
Then I'll watch the movie but not tell you.
Don't cheat like that. If you've already seen the movie, like everybody has seen Charlotte's Web, okay? If you've already seen the movie before we pick the book, still don't tell nobody, okay? Don't cheat. Don't tell nobody, okay? So that is pretty much our day. Can you believe that we got through it and we actually finished 30 minutes early? But before we leave in class, we always, at the end of the day, meet and say what was good and what needed improvement. So what I will say is we need to improve on muting the mic when Miss Nagy says that we need to mute it. And Miss Nagy needs to improve on somehow figuring out this math, okay? Because that math, I saw some of you get really, really sad, and it broke my heart, okay? So is there anything that you guys think we need to improve on or that was good so that Miss Nagy could fix this Google Meet? Okay. So is there any more questions? No. Please, please, please give yourself a round of applause. That was hard, okay? We got through e-learning. Awesome. So You guys are good to go. I will see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock, okay?
Okay.
Bye, guys.